Welcome everyone. Today's lesson is going to be on factors, prime numbers and products. This is a really important section. This is genuinely work that you're actually going to use all the way through to the end of matric and to university. So please pay attention. It forms a very big foundation of work you're going to be doing in the future. So it's not a difficult concept. Have fun, enjoy it and pay close attention. Alright, so we're going to start with a factor. And a factor is a number that can be divided into that number without leaving a remainder. So we need to see what that actually means, because sometimes in words it's not as straightforward as it seems, but it really is quite simple. So let's look at the number 24. And I'm going to say, well, what are the factors of 24? So what we need to do is say, okay, well, what numbers can be divided into 24 without leaving a remainder? I'm going to show you the way I like to set it out as I do it. This is how I can find all the factors. It makes things quite straightforward and easy for me. So I always start with 24. Well, obviously 1 times 24 will give me 24. Can I divide it by 2? Yes, I can go, well, 2 times 12. Can I divide 24 by 3? Yes, because it's 3 times 8. Can I divide it by 4? Yes, because it's 4 times 6. And I go, can I divide it by 5? No, I can't. So I can immediately see the minute I've gone past 5, I'm actually moving now up until my numbers have got on the right hand side, the 6, 7, 8, 12, all those numbers onwards. So as I start with the smallest numbers and I work down, I'm already identifying the bigger numbers. And once I cross over from that point to that point, I know I've identified all of the factors of 24. So I can say the factors of 24, and I would write it out like this. The factors of 24 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. Right, so that is how you would identify the factors, and as you can see, they all work because there are no decimals, they're whole numbers, and that's what we're aiming for. Right. Okay, so now that you understand what factors are, it makes it easier to explain what a prime number is. And now a prime number only has 2 factors, 1 and itself. So just an easy way to go through it is, let's start with natural numbers, and we'll start with number 1. We're going to work our way up, and we're going to identify what are prime numbers, and you'll see it's going to make sense as we go along. Now, first of all, the number 1 is not a prime number. Okay, so the ones that are not, I'm going to do a cross next to. The reason for that, 1 only has 1 factor, which is 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, so it only in theory has 1 factor. 1 is not a prime factor. 2 is a prime factor, and the reason for that, or prime number should I say, is because it is 1 times 2. So it's itself and 1. That is why 2 is a prime number. Then you get 3. If you think about it, 3 is also a prime number, and that is also because it is 1 times 3. There's no other options. Now we're going to get to the number 4. And 4, you're going to see immediately is not a prime number, because you can either go 1 times 4 or 2 times 2. So 4 has more than 2 factors. Alright, so it's the 4 and 1 and the 4, or 2 times 2. So now we therefore call for a composite number, because it has more than 2 factors. Right, I hope by now we're starting to get the idea of this. Let's look at number 5. Alright, and if I think you guys are on top of it, you'll see 5 is 1 times 5, and there's no other options. Let's do one more composite number, because number 6, you can see, will be a composite number. It won't work because it will be 1 times 6, or 2 times 3. Does that make sense? I think as a good practice, try and go through some prime numbers. Try and identify the next 5 prime numbers that come along. Pause the video, try and do that, then move on to the next screen and see if you can start identifying what are the prime numbers, what are not. Remember, it must just have 2 factors, 1 in itself. The minute it's got more, like the numbers 4 and 6, you're not going to get any more, should I say, and it won't be a prime number, it will be a composite number. What's interesting to note is 2 will be the only even prime number that exists. Every other even number after that will not be a prime number, it will be a composite number because 2 goes into all even numbers. Alright, let's move on to the last part. So to conclude, we're going to look at what the definition product is and how it relates to everything we've done so far. So as you would have noticed, we worked out in the first part when we were doing the factors of 24, those were the factors. So any of those two numbers multiplied by each other would give you 24, which makes them products of the number 24. So 1 times 24, for example, gives us 24. So the 1 and the 24 are the products of 24. Now there is another way we can start expressing this, and I want to do it with 4 and 6 as examples, where I can say 4 times 6 we know are the products of 24. But we can express this in a prime numbers, and this is where I want you to pay close attention. In the previous one we spoke what are prime numbers, and I now want to express this in prime numbers. So 4 can be expressed, and I'm going to do this in blue, the 4 can be expressed as 2 times 2. And the 6 can be expressed as 2 times 3. And that would obviously give us our 24. So if we want to say what are the products of 24 expressed as prime numbers, we could say, well, it's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, which gives us 24. So that is a way to express it, and that is our prime numbers used as to identify, or to, should I say, to create the product of 24. Alright, we're going to go into this a bit more in some lessons coming up, but I want you to start thinking about that. So when we express a number as the product of its prime numbers, this is what we've done here. So 24 expresses the product of its prime numbers is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Alright, good luck with the exercise. Please pay close attention, don't get confused. If you need to re-watch the video, make sure you fully understand it. This is an important section. It genuinely is something you're going to carry through to the day you matriculate. So don't get confused with the concepts.